Hey guys, and welcome back to the Matthew 5:14 podcast. So, a couple quick things before we get into the podcast today. First, if you guys, I don't know if the audio will pick it up, but I'm extremely stopped up right now. I cannot breathe through my nose. So if I sound a little different, then that is what is going on. I'm back home for the summer, so I'm in Virginia, and I guess I'm adjusting to the air quality here or whatever, and the pollen and the different things here that throw my sinuses off or whatever. So I'm a little stopped up. And then if you're watching the actual video, then you can see that I'm in a different place yet again. The past couple podcasts, I think I've been in different places. I know for the last one that I filmed with my best friend Sky, we filmed that in my basement, and we pre-filmed that back in December or January. And then the time before that, I think it was in my dorm room. And then I think I was staying at my dorm desk, and then other times I had it propped up, my computer propped up somewhere different. Now I'm in my bedroom because when I used to film at home, if I had guests, then I would film in our basement. But then if I was filming by myself, I would film in our guest room in front of that sheet that I had painted, and it said "Be the Light." But our guest room is currently the storage room for my twin sister and I's college stuff. So we're in my bedroom, and the background in my room is probably gonna change depending on the time that I'm filming. And right now with lighting, this is what works the best, I think. But obviously it might change and whatnot. But that doesn't matter. As long as the message of Jesus is getting preached, then it doesn't matter if I'm in our basement or a guest room or my dorm or wherever it is. It doesn't matter. But I thought I would let you guys know. And if you're listening to the audio, then none of this even matters, and you just heard me, ramble on and whatnot. But yeah, that's a little bit of an update with that. And then, like I said, I am back home in Virginia for the summer. If you guys have never listened to my podcast or haven't kept up, then and I'll share with you guys that I went to the University of Mississippi and have totally loved being there. And now I am back home in Virginia for the summer, and I'm excited to see the different things that God is going to grow in me and do being back home. It's been an adjustment being back here, but there's so many things that I love about being home. So I've just been trying to enjoy those things and enjoy things that are unique and authentic to just Virginia. I am doing 3 summer classes online, just so I can keep up with my credits, and that's where I can graduate early. So I am doing that this summer, and I actually applied for a job today, and actually applied for a couple different babysitting things. So yeah, just trying to make money this summer, get more education, but most importantly, I'm seeking to just grow closer to God. And in all seasons of my life, I want to grow closer to Him. I want to become the best version of myself, live my life to the fullest, be the light. And all in all, I want my life to honor and glorify God. So wherever I am, whatever I do, that is my goal. So that's a little bit of a life update with what has been going on with me. I hope that you guys are all doing super well and super great. And I'm hoping that the message from this podcast is only going to make your day even better and the season of life that you're in better. So today we're going to be talking about simple ways to incorporate Jesus in your everyday life. This was actually inspired by one of my friends, Madison Purdy. Shout out. Thanks, girl. We were on FaceTime, and we were just talking about different things that, people, would like to hear on the podcast and different things that I should talk about. And she shared this idea, and I just loved it because I think that this is something that can feel very overcomplicated. And I think it's easy for people to think from maybe the church's mindset or other Christians' mindsets or whatever. I think it can be a message that people think it's, this hard thing to do, and it's just not possible or capable. They can't do it. But I'm hoping that this podcast is going to help you guys to realize that there's so many different ways that we can incorporate Jesus into our everyday lives. And it doesn't mean we have to make a bunch of big, crazy changes. It can just be little changes that can produce lasting fruit and beauty in your life and allow you to bring Jesus all throughout your day and keep your mindset on Him. And I also believe that the more that we incorporate these into our life, God is so faithful that He's going to open up the door to be able to allow us to spend even more time with Him and to be able to have more moments of just being with Him and reflecting with Him and being filled up with His mindsets. It's just taking that step and doing what we can, and God is always faithful to do the rest. And I also just want to encourage you guys, that's how it is in any season of life. When we do our part, God is always faithful to show up and to do the parts that we can't, and just to provide in a lot of awesome, amazing, beautiful ways. So let's dive into this and let's talk about different ways that we can incorporate Jesus into our everyday life. So the first thing that I wanted to point out is by starting our day with Jesus. This isn't anything crazy. I think that when we start our day with Jesus first thing in the morning, and like I used to think when I was first like walking with Jesus, I thought this meant like I, couldn't do anything in my day before being with him. But, like go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, like if you need to get some coffee, get some coffee. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying like before your busy, crazy day starts, like before you go to work, before you go to school, before you hang out with people, before, you take care of kids, whatever it is. And I obviously know that this is going to look different for different people because of different seasons that you're going to be in. And like, God understands that. God sees that. God knows that. And he's going to bless you for your faithfulness and for your willingness and for you trying. And he's not expecting you, for example, if you have to wake up at like 5 a.m, like he is not expecting you to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like if he is calling you to that, then, obviously so be it. But he is a gracious God who also understands about our sleep. And so don't beat yourself up if this time may not look like other Christians or it may not look perfect in your eyes. But just some way, shape, or form, start your day with Jesus, because I believe that it's so much easier to continue to incorporate him throughout your day when you've started your day with him, because you've already done it. You've already started that habit. You've already lived that out. And it makes me think of the Bible verse Psalms 34:8. And it says, taste and see that the Lord is good. And I think that when we have that first taste in the morning, we want to keep coming back to it. It's just like when you take a sip of coffee and it tastes really good. I'm saying that because I love coffee. You want to keep sipping the coffee or whatever it is. If it's a soda or if it is, ice cream, it can be food. When you have that one taste, you want more of it. So if you start your day with Jesus, it's a lot easier to continue to come to him versus getting busy with the day and almost like essentially forgetting about it. So start your day with Jesus, whatever this may look like. I know for me, I like for it to be at least 30 minutes to an hour. But remember, 1 minute with Jesus is better than 0 minutes with him. And he can do so much more with our 1 minute with him than we can do with, no minutes with him. So give yourself grace with that. Do what you can. And another thing that I have found in my life is that just by starting to incorporate it, so if it's 10 minutes in the morning, if it's 15 minutes, if it's not that much, he's always opened up the door and allowed me to start incorporating even more time with him. So start your day with Jesus, get that good first taste in, and it's just going to be so much easier to flow with that throughout the day. And that's literally incorporating Jesus right in the beginning of your day. So you're going to be able to do it, better throughout the day. So that is the first little thing. Second thing is incorporating worship music, sermons, and podcasts into activities and things that you're already doing. I think so many people think that they have to create all these new crazy habits when in reality they already have things that they're doing that they can incorporate Jesus in. So I'm sure majority of you guys, probably have dishes to do. You've got laundry to do. If you have a dog, you might be taking it on walks. If you have a job that requires a commute, you're going to have a drive. You're going to be in the car. You probably, hopefully you should be cleaning up your room or cleaning up your bathroom or, just cleaning your house, cleaning out your car. If fitness is a priority to you, then you might be going on runs, going to the gym, going on walks. Those are just a couple of different things. And a lot of the times in those situations, we're already listening to something. And typically, it's easy in those moments to be listening to secular music. You're listening to country music, pop, rap, folk, whatever it is. But in those moments, instead of choosing just to listen to the songs, there's nothing wrong with, listening to those, those things and, other types of music, but also find ways to incorporate worship into that time. Turn worship music on, turn a Christian podcast on, turn a sermon on, and allow, your mind and your heart and your soul to be fueled with that and set on that. And that's going to allow you to get your mindset on Jesus versus set on this world. Another thing too, that I have found that I have loved doing is allowing my workout time to be a time of not even listening to any secular music. Either I'm going to be listening to Christian rap, I'm going to be listening to worship music, or I'm going to be listening to a podcast. When I go on runs, one thing that I found that I really love is turning on worship music, because I feel like it just slows me down and it allows me to think, and I'm moving my body and I just go for a nice long run. But, sometimes in order to make it through a workout, you feel like you need that pump up. So turn on Christian rap. I feel like I don't necessarily get as much from Christian rap as I would from like worship music, like, strictly worship. But I think that one thing with Christian rap is that it is not feeding my mind a bunch of trashy cuss words, derogatory, like bad things like regular rap can, but it's still giving me like that pump up and that hype, that I need more so like at the gym or, at the end of a run or whatever. But also, see the gym time as a time to be able to turn on a podcast. Or if you want to, prioritize exercise, go on a prayer walk. That's a great way to incorporate Jesus in your day and get exercise. So you're killing two birds with one stone. If you already have to walk your dog, use it as a time to talk to Jesus. Another great thing that I've heard and I've kind of done, but I don't really live in a neighborhood, so it doesn't really work for me. But if you live in a neighborhood, then each house that you pass, pray for that family, pray for that marriage, pray for the kids, pray financial blessings over them. That's a great way to serve other people, love other people, pray for other people. And a great way to connect you with Jesus and to take something you already have to do, like walking the dog or, taking care of your health and bringing Jesus into it. So hopefully you guys can see that you don't have to like totally slash out, your schedule and your plans and things, but you can incorporate Jesus into things that you're already doing. I also used to love when I was living on campus, like when I was at college, my walks everywhere were like pretty long. Like I would have like 15-minute walks, 10-minute walks, things like that. And so I found podcasts that were like between like 8 and like 12, 13 minutes that I could listen to on those walks, because after a while those walks can feel a little boring. And another beautiful thing about that is it took something that like typically would have been boring, and like God took it and like used it for like so much goodness, and he allowed me to listen to podcasts that I really loved. One that I highly recommend is Terry Savelle Foy. It's about like Christian like success, like with finances, and just like your mental health and healthy habits and different things like that, but it is all faith-based, and I want to be able to succeed in all areas of my life because I want every area to, honor and glorify God. So that is a great podcast to listen to. So those are just a couple of different things that you can do. Nothing crazy or out of the way, but a great way to incorporate Jesus into your life. So the third thing is I have really enjoyed having these on my desk, and I'm not on top of them or super in the flow of them, but it's little desk devotion. So if you're watching the audio or like watching, I don't know why I say watch the audio, because you can't watch audio, watching the visual to the audio, whatever, I don't know. I have this little like desk devotion, and I keep it on my desk, and my desk is like, whenever I walk in and out of my room, it's right there. And so I'm constantly passing this desk devotion. And so when I see it, it's a good little reminder to, okay, let me stop, pause, let me read this. It's also great if I'm doing schoolwork at my desk and I need a little break. It's a great thing to get some positivity, especially when you're, hammering down and doing work. It can be easy to get focused on that, to get flustered, to get in a bad mood. But when I have these little devotions, it's a good little like pick me up, but like in my walk with God. Or, if you have a set schedule versus it just being a here and there thing, like you can set a time each day. Okay, when I have this break, or when I, go get a snack, or when I go to the bathroom, whatever it is, connected with, something you already do, just like you can do with like the worship music and sermons and podcasts, and choose to read one of these. And they're not super long. They don't take a lot of time. This one that I have, sometimes it has a little quote before, a quick little devotion that is like 2, 3, 4 sentences at most, and then a Bible verse. And then they make other ones as well. And that is a great way to get some truth in me, get positive, get encouraged, get focused on Jesus. But it doesn't take a lot of time, but it allows me to incorporate him into my day. So that is, one thing to do. And also with that, like I said, if you have set things like when you go on a lunch break, when you're going to the bathroom, like let that be a time for you to spend time with Jesus. Maybe, when you take your first, break at work, go check verse of the day on your phone. I really, highly recommend the YouVersion Bible app. You can do little Bible studies on there. It has the whole entire Bible on your phone, and then they always send verse of the day, like a, different verse every day. I know there's a lot of other apps that send things as well. And so you could connect that, with, your lunch break, a bathroom break, a water break, a snack break, a mental break, whatever it is. Or having like an actual like hard copy, like book devotion. Sometimes those can take a little bit longer, but I know that if I'm going on a longer break, then that is something that I really try to do, because then it also like leads me into a time of praying and talking to God, because I want to talk to him about what I just read. So that's, nothing crazy, but just a great little thing to add into your day. The fourth thing that I want to share is leaving like notes around your like environment that you're in, but not just like feasible notes, like also things with your phone as well. So a couple examples I have is leaving notes like on your computer, like not like in the actual computer, but like on like the desktop or whatever. I'm filming on my computer, but like I have my keyboard, and there's like the little part where like the keys aren't, and so I will leave little notes there. Right now I have a note that says do more of, and it's just a couple things that I want to incorporate more of into my life. And for example, it's listening to encouraged podcasts and watching Christian movies. And it just encourages me to do those things that allow me to spend time with Jesus. I also will leave Bible verses on there, quotes, reminders of, just the things that I'm seeking to grow in my walk with God. And it's a great thing when I open up my computer, it's what I'm seeing. Or, say I take a look down, I'm able to read it. It's a great reminder. I do try to switch through them regularly, because otherwise I, go through the motions of looking at it and I forget that it's there. So if you're like me, just switch through them. I have, I put Bible verses on my door. I have things above and below my light switch. I have literally put things on the toilet lid. So when I go to the bathroom, like there's Bible verses there. I put things on the mirror before. I put things on my steering wheel, like where the horn is. I have put things in my agenda. So when I'm opening it and I'm looking at what to do for the day, I have things written, especially if I know it's going to be a more stressful week. Then I'm leaving notes of encouragement that are going to inspire me. In your work environment, leave notes, like literally anywhere that you can. Leave a note of encouragement, a Bible verse, a quote, whatever it is that is going to slow you down, allow you to get your mind on Jesus, and to get focused on good things and focus on things that are from Him. Another thing is, what is your phone wallpaper? That's a great way to allow you to slow down. Right now, mine says, until it's my turn, I will keep clapping for others. I've had the Bible verse, all things are permissible but not beneficial. I've had until God opens the next door, praise Him in the hallway, and then a little thing that just says Jesus loves me. And those have all been very fitting for the different seasons of life that I've been in. And I'm picking up my phone all throughout the day, checking it, looking at it, doing something on it. And so it's great. If I'm constantly picking it up, then at least let me be getting truth when I pick it up. So that's a great way to incorporate Jesus into your day. Another thing that I've done is, you can like do little reminders on your phone, be like, hey Siri, or I don't know if you have an Android, what she's called on the thing, if there's a little voice thing, but I'll be like, hey Siri, like remind me at whatever time. And so say that morning when I spent time with Jesus, the Bible verse really stood out to me. I'll be like, hey Siri, remind me at whatever time, and I'll just say the Bible verse. So say 10 o'clock, that Bible verse pops up, and it's a reminder, and I just read the Bible verse, and my day is like instantly blessed in that moment. And then if I'm on my computer and it pops up, then I have the option to click like remind me in an hour. So then I'm able to like see the Bible verse again in an hour. So that's just a great way to incorporate Jesus in your day. And then another thing that I thought of when I was preparing for this podcast, I've never done this, and I like wouldn't do this just because like it doesn't apply to me. But if you're one of those like people who like ringtones, like pairing people with ringtones, turn or like pick ringtones that are like worship songs. So when somebody calls you, it's a worship song. And especially if it is somebody that you don't want to hear from, and somebody that might annoy you, then you're probably going to be more likely to be kind and loving because you got the worship song going. So I just thought that'd be a cool way to like incorporate Jesus in your day. Leaving little notes around, setting reminders on your phone, what is your wallpaper, and setting ringtones. I know that those things aren't totally major and they may not be totally applicable to you, but I think that they are great ways that I've incorporated Jesus into my day, and just things that have allowed me to like slow down and just get my eyes fixed on Him. Another thing that I want to connect with that, and like this is another point, and I just want to like flow into it, is what is your environment and who are you following? And this also kind of connects with another point about community, because the things around us are either going to be pushing us to be closer to Jesus, or they're going to be drawing us away. So what's pushing you? Like, what is pushing you like in your life? Is it pushing you to good things? Is it pushing you to motivation? Is it pushing you to God? Or is it pulling you away? And so take a look at who are you following on social media. I know that lately I've been following or unfollowing a lot of people, not because I have any problem with them, not because I'm worried about followers, whatever, but because I want, when I open up social media, for it to be goodness and to feel inspired when I'm on it, not to feel drained or to feel bad or to feel negative. And I know some people are like, oh well, I don't want somebody's feelings to be hurt, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, like if it is stealing peace and joy in your life, and if it is taking you away from your walk with God, then I believe you have every right to step away from that, because anything in our life that takes us away from God probably should be taken out of our lives. So who are you following? And when you unfollow people, replace it with good people to follow. Follow accounts that are going to post Bible verses, that are going to post encouraging things, because then when you're on social media, you're going to be having reminders of Jesus. So then it's going to be so much easier to bring him into your day and to focus on him in your day. So a couple that I follow is Women of Faith, Trust God Bro. But there's literally like so many different ones. Like if you searched up, like, users search up faith, God, Bible verses. Like I'm sure you can come up with so many different things. Also search up or follow your local church or a church you really like, because they're probably going to be posting clips from their sermons or quotes from their sermons. And that's going to be a great way to get truth in you, to get your eyes set on Jesus, to incorporate him in your day. Follow podcast accounts. I have an account for my podcast, and on there I post clips from the podcast and quotes from the podcast, but I know a ton of other people who have podcasts do that as well. And then follow other Christians, even if they may not be posting, Bible verses with everything, or, little sermons or little passages or whatever it is. Their posts, make sure like the fruits of their spirit align with, them being a Christian. But, if they are actively walking, out the truth and seeking to know God, then most likely their accounts are going to follow that. So follow people who are going to be posting positive things, because that is only going to push you closer to God versus pulling you away. So really take the time to look at that. And majority of us already spend time on social media, so let it be a time that pushes you closer to God versus away. I know another thing, God has used those accounts to really like convict me when I've been on social media for too long and I start scrolling, and he doesn't. I'll be going through social media, whatever, and once I know that I've been on there too long, those accounts start coming up. And it's God almost being like, okay, Carter, like, you had your time on social media. It's time to, like, get up, get away, and go live out the life that, I have for you. So it can be a great way to be accountable and lead you closer to God. But with that, I want to point out your community, because that's another thing that we can control, and that can really either push us closer to God or pull us away. And just like we're already spending time on social media, majority of us are already hanging out with people. We're spending time with people. We're going out to eat with people. We are going on walks with people. We're hanging out with people. Are those people pushing you closer to God, or are they pulling you away? Are they friends that you can talk about faith with, or are they not? Are they friends that are encouraging you in your walk with God, or are they not? Now, obviously, you do need to have friends that you're pouring into and that you are encouraging, but you also need to have the friends that are going to pour into you as well. So really take an evaluation of your community, and also take an evaluation of yourself and realize, okay, am I the type of friend that is going to be incorporating or pushing my friends to incorporate Jesus into their life more and more, or am I pulling them away? And so start by being that friend, and then start to evaluate, okay, do I have those friends in my life? And then by evaluating that, that's going to allow you to become a better friend by having those good friends in your life. And that's only going to push you closer to God. I know that today, for example, I went to the gym with my best friend Skylar, the one that was on the podcast last podcast, and going to the gym was something that, we already did. And that's another thing. I talked about, listening to podcasts at the gym. Well, could you go to the gym with somebody that you can have fruitful conversations with when you're there? And, going to the gym is such a fun time for the two of us going together, because, we love hanging out. We want to hang out. We already are going to the gym together, or we're already going to the gym. So let's just go together. And in that, like, the time is just so fruitful and it's so beautiful. And we just have so many awesome conversations. And today, like, I walked away feeling so encouraged, so inspired. And as soon as like I dropped her off, I started talking to Jesus about everything that we had talked about. Like, be with the type of friends who make you want to spend time with God more, because that is only going to push you to incorporate him into your life even more. And then my friends back at college, Sophie and Sarah Beth, they pushed me to be closer to God as well. And the conversations I have with them are always so fruitful. And they're the type of friends as well, where as soon as I get in the car, step away from them or get away from them, I want to talk to Jesus about it. And I want to go read the word and I want to go worship. So be with those friends. And another thing is, if you feel like, you haven't been that friend, change that. And one great thing that I think you can do is just start sending messages of encouragement to your friends. I know whenever my friends, send me Bible verses or let me know that they're praying for me, that encourages me so much. So be that type of friend for other people. So look at your community, look at who you're following. I think that all goes hand in hand with your environment. But another thing with, who you're following, what are you watching? Just like, okay, you can change what you're listening to, you can change who you're following. What are you watching and what are you reading? Those are two other great ways that I incorporate Jesus into my everyday life, and I think that we all can. A lot of us love to turn on a movie at the end of the day. We love to turn on a TV show, and I'm not saying like stop watching like your other shows. Like that is not like at all what I'm saying, but incorporate Christian movies into your entertainment. Incorporate Christian shows into your entertainment, because those movies are only going to encourage you more in your walk with God, and they're only going to lead you to want to be with him more. And while you're watching that and relaxing it at the end of the day, it is setting your mind up on him. And God has worked through movies and TV shows to lead me closer to him and to put awesome things in my heart. A couple things that, or a couple movies and shows that I have, for example, is I'm Not Ashamed. That one has literally led me to be so unashamed of my faith, literally like the, title says, and just be bold for Jesus and to really be the light, which is what this podcast is all about. I still believe really encouraged me in my walk with God just to realize, okay, am I in it with God totally and fully, even if bad things happen? Like, am I going to believe God is good, even if bad is happening? I can only imagine that one was so beautiful about forgiveness, and it just allowed me to realize that God forgives me, so I need to go and forgive other people. And then Jesus Revolution, it pushed me to want to let all that I am honor God and glorify God, and that really pushed me to want to be around community that wanted to do the same exact thing. And then lately, my family and I have been watching The Chosen, and that has just led me deeper in my walk with God, and allowed me to just be so, more in awe of his love and better understand it. So what are you watching? And then what are you reading? I know, you might not be a big reader, and so if this doesn't apply to you, then this doesn't apply to you, but you could always make a new change. But I've always loved reading. Like ever since I was a little kid, I loved reading. And once I started, walking with Jesus, he opened up my eyes and helped me to realize that my passion for reading could be birthed in a whole new way, and it could allow me to actually grow closer to him and to become a better version of myself and to look more like him and live more like him by reading Christian books that inspire me, in my walk with him. And that is a great way that I'm able to incorporate Jesus in my day, because before I filmed this podcast, I actually went to a local dock by my house, and I read a chapter of my book, and it was all, talking about prayer, and it led me, once I finished the chapter, to just pray some really bold prayers over some big God dreams in my life. I've read books about confidence. I have read books about being fearless. I have read other books about prayer. There's so many different books out there. I have a whole bookshelf right here. And there's just literally any topic that you want to grow in your faith, I'm sure there's a book on it. And so that's a great way that I incorporate Jesus into my day. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is just constant prayer. I think so many people think that they have to pray these big, crazy prayers for hours on end, when in reality, obviously that can be great too, but God just wants our heart, and he just wants us to talk to him throughout the day. And so I know for me, as soon as I get back in the car after being at a coffee shop or being out to eat or being with friends, and if I'm in the car by myself, I start talking to Jesus. I start talking to him about what I just did. I start talking to, praying over a prayer for somebody else that, happened in that moment. I start talking about how I feel in that moment, things I want to, grow closer to him in, things that he just opened up my eyes to. Whenever, if I'm driving and if an ambulance passes, a police car passes, a fire truck passes, I'll pray for them, pray for the first responders, pray for the people that are in that situation. When I'm in the shower, I pray. Before I go to bed, I pray. When I wake up in the morning, I pray. If I'm stressed at school, I say a quick prayer. When I take a break, like just constantly in prayer. And I know that that's something that can be a little difficult at first, but when you start taking that step and like creating that habit, then it becomes so much easier. And then you're constantly incorporating Jesus into your day. And they don't have to be crazy prayers. Literally it can be you pass the fire truck and you say, "Dear Jesus, I pray that you would keep that first responder safe and you would bless that situation." If you don't have that long in the car, be like, "God, I thank you for, putting air in my lungs today. And I'm thankful for what I'm about to go and do. And I just pray that you help me to go and be your hands and feet and to be the light with these people I'm about to be with." Or if you're coming from a, situation, be like, "God, that stressed me out. I pray for your peace and your provision. And I pray that you would continue to work through me to be the light and to make a difference in other people's lives, even though I don't feel like it right now." Those are just a couple examples. Like, it doesn't have to be, crazy, out of the water things. And then I know I said last thing, but one last thing actually. I know I already talked about it, but really, what is your environment? Like, not even like, what are you watching? Yes, what are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you reading? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are you following? But what are you wearing? What's in your room? What do your clothes say? What does the decor in your room say? Those things are going to affect us. And right now, like, I'm not wearing anything like on my shirt or whatever that says anything on it, but I have shirts that say fearless. I've had shirts that say, God is good all the time, God is good. I've had things that just say like amazing grace, different things like that. And one, that's a great way to be the light with other people because other people are going to see those and it can start conversations. But it also is a great reminder to yourself because when you look in the mirror, you're seeing that. When you put it on, you're seeing that. And it's a reminder and it's a great way for you to get focused on Jesus. I wear the He Would Love First bracelets. And every time I look down at that, it's a reminder to love like God loves. And sometimes that'll lead me to a moment of prayer, a moment of confession. Like, okay, I'm not doing that. I'm not living that out. And so that's a great way that I, can incorporate Jesus and get my mind set on Him. So really look at, what is your environment? So I'm hoping that out of all those points, you guys were able to take away something in some way, shape, or form. Start your day with Jesus. Also, another great thing to do, I keep adding to it. God keeps showing me things, I feel like. But end your day with God too. Because then you're more likely to start your day with Him the next day. And also, when you end your day with God, it's a beautiful time to reflect and look back on the day and be like, okay, I did this well. I didn't do this well. This is a way that I can incorporate you better tomorrow. And this is a way that I already did incorporate you well. So praise you for that, God. And it allows you to go to bed and sleep peaceful, dreams and thoughts and, wake up feeling refreshed. And it also is another, once again, great way to incorporate Jesus into your day. So start your day with Jesus, end your day with Jesus, stay in constant prayer, incorporate worship music, sermons, podcasts into things you're already doing. Have reminders and note cards and desk devotions and devotions, around the environment that you're in. Make sure that the environment you're in is pushing you closer to God, not pulling you away. Who are you following? What are you watching? Who are you, surrounding yourself with? What are you listening to? Is a community pushing you? So really seek to be around people who are going to push you, encourage you, and lead you closer to God, and seek to do things that is going to do that as well. So hopefully you guys are able to see that there's so many great ways to incorporate Jesus in our days, and it doesn't have to be super crazy or overcomplicated. And it can already be like literally things that you're probably already doing. You can just add Jesus into it. And the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. And yeah, once you taste and see that God is good, then you're going to want to continue to see that He is good. I want to end with the Bible verse, Hebrews 12:2. And I think that this is just like to sum up everything we talked about. And it says, "Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith." So whatever you do in life, let it allow you to set your eyes on Jesus. And lastly, I want to close out with the challenge. So it's a two-parter. First, I challenge you guys to incorporate one of these things into your life. And if you're doing all of them, then just see how you can grow in one of them. But if there's one that that you could, add into your life, then add it into your life. And then send somebody a message of faith and a message of an encouragement. Be that good friend and be somebody that leads leads other people closer to Jesus. And if you feel like there's not anybody that you can send it to personally, then post it on your social media, so that when people are going through their social media, that they're pushed and led to be closer to Jesus and to have a sweet moment with him. Because remember, one moment with Jesus is better than 0 moments with him, or 1 minute is better than 0 minutes. But I hope that I was able to encourage you guys in some way, shape, or form. Go out and be the light, incorporate Jesus into your everyday life, and push other people to do the same as well. Until next time, go and be the light.